Tonight, community members gather to demand action against climate change. And the FDA is one step closer to approving a therapy with the potential to reduce peanut allergy symptoms. All this and more here on LCTV News.
Good evening, I'm Asia Singleton.
And I'm Maggie Wedlake. Taking a look at national news, all eyes are on Washington, D.C. as news breaks that the House of Representatives is moving forward with impeachment inquiries. The president has come under recent fire after a whistleblower released information claiming the president had been using his own office to further his agenda.
Take a tour around this simple Loris Boulevard duplex.
The plaster was coming loose. The refrigerator was leaking. There's a lot of moisture problems already. There's a gap from the front door to the outside.
And you'll be shocked with what you find. The tenants that live here pay cheap rent for cheap living conditions. One of the residents, who asked to remain off camera, briefly describes his reason for living here.
To be honest, this apartment, we're living in it because we have to.
When was your last inspection?
We couldn't even tell you.
Lynn Sutton, a community activist here in Dubuque, has been spearheading a movement to improve housing conditions for Dubuque residents. She's working on putting together reports from tenants and filing a lawsuit against the city for not meeting housing policies.
Because it's not good for those kids that are in there, because they begin to think this is the norm.
She sat down to talk with Assistant Dubuque County Attorney Rye Meyer.
When people don't have access to safe housing, they become unstable. And destabilized people are people who are more likely to become victims of crime.
And the poor living conditions aren't exclusive. Take a look at this inspection report, filed about a month ago for a house on Chestnut Street near downtown. Every single line here is an inspection code that this house did not pass. And it's not uncommon that in a bad situation, when a tenant complains,
the landlord's going to say, hey, you chose to come here.
For now, Lynn believes the best course of action is to bring this problem to light. Sutton is in the process of asking more tenants to come forward with their housing issues. She asks anyone who would be willing to share their story to get in touch with her.
You can do so by sending her a message through her Facebook page, Lynn Sutton, Dubuque Community Activist.
Jim Schmidt knows his dairy herd pretty well.
These three here would be 3-year-olds.
From the food they eat,
A protein mix and a vitamin mix.
to their milk production, Schmidt uses this information to make better decisions for his 150 milking cows, especially in times like these.
If you're a dairy farmer, everybody's hurt.
Since a peak in 2014, the milk prices have steadily dropped off and remained low. That's something Wayne Kramer of the Dubuque County Farm Bureau knows all too well.
We're getting paid like $14, $15 a hundred. Our price of production is probably $16 to $17 a hundred, so we're running into a negative.
All farmers are looking for ways to skim costs in order to keep their dairies running.
Everybody's situation is a little bit different.
Schmidt switched to robotic milking just 2 years ago.
We get our cows milked almost 3 times a day.
And though he's seen the benefits of the new technology,
We've increased our milk production, and it's lessened the workload.
the low milk prices have him hoping for a day when his investment will pay off.
We knew going into this that our dairy farming has been cycles in the past, and we've had highs and lows. It just seems like this low has been hanging on for a little bit longer.
During our last show, we learned that young people aren't expected to be best represented during the upcoming midterm elections.
Reporter Amber Krieg is here in the studio to tell us how Loris students stack up. Amber?
A satellite voting location was on campus last week, and tonight a Rock the Vote event is being held in the campus ballrooms. It's clear that there's a push to get young voters involved this election season. I met with a few of those voters to see why they're getting involved.
I just think it's super important for everyone to get out and vote.
Talking to some Loris students.
It's important to share your thoughts and your feelings on what America should look like.
It's our civic duty to come out here and kind of make our voice heard.
You wouldn't guess that they're less likely to vote this election season.
I just think midterms are too often ignored by young voters, and I think it's really important that we vote in every election that we can because we need to make our voices heard. We're a lot more powerful than we think we are.
It's something many students know to be true. In a recent survey of Loris students, over 91% said that they had or will be voting during this election. Dubuque County Auditor Denise Dolan knows that it can be tough for young people to get involved in the election cycle.
It may be harder for young people to do research on the candidates that are on a midterm ballot, and I understand that they have other things on their mind, other things to do, but it only gets more hectic the older you get.
Candidate information is available online and in local news publications. But the Dubuque County Elections Office also provides sample ballots, polling locations, and a guide to voting laws. Still, the best way to make a difference at the polls is understanding how important each vote is.
We've had elections that are decided by 2 votes, 14 votes. The only way you're going to make a change is if you find out about candidates and go and vote.
Though it is too late to request an absentee ballot, voters can still cast early votes at the courthouse or the elections annex. Or to find out where you can vote on Election Day, visit myduhawk.com. For LCTV News, I'm Amber Krieg.
2012 to 2016, the city of Dubuque saw a rise in poverty levels by 3.6%. And although it lowered by 0.5% in 2017, it's become clear that officials would like to do more to close that gap with the passing of a community action plan to reduce poverty. Planning Services Manager for the city, Laura Karstens, offered some insight on the project.
We'll be working with business leaders, with philanthropy, with social service agencies that work with people in poverty, as well as people living in poverty or have lived in poverty, so we understand what are the stresses of being in poverty in our community.
A large amount of the $43,000 study will go towards finding data, which the city hopes will eventually lead to an answer.
We want to understand what are the forces that are creating this situation. What are the things we're doing? Are they helping? Do they need to be better coordinated? Are there things we're not doing that we could be doing? We want to look for trends. We want to understand best practices in other communities.
Opening Doors Program Director Heather Lugrain hopes that this study will make it clear to residents of Dubuque that this is a very real issue for the city.
I think when people say they don't see it, it's because they're not looking or they don't want to look. As far as numbers, we were full so much last year that we had to turn away 153 people. I don't remember in the history of me working here having to do that.
Lugrain hopes that the study's results will provoke the community to be more involved.
There's a need. There's a need for more, and we need to do better as a community.
The study will take place analyzing data over the next few years and will be the top priority for the City Council's 2018 to 2020 policy agenda.
Trains.
Logan just is in love.
There's something Logan Walker will never stop admiring. Even if the train itself stops. Logan's mom, Jessica, says the 11-year-old steps in his room.
He just loves everything in here.
And loses himself in the magic. It's all you can expect from a kid, even one fighting the fight that Logan does. Logan heads to the doctor once a month for a checkup on a list of life-threatening conditions that seem to go on and on. But when Logan's home, he has a place totally his own. And it's all thanks to Ann Decker.
Oh my gosh, Logan, he is a terrific little guy.
Ann and her team at Special Spaces Dubuque give children fighting life-threatening diseases a gift.
It makes a difference for all the family.
Unlike any other.
They are in the most difficult moments of their life. Special Spaces being able to go in and make over their bedroom to their dream bedroom really lifts their spirits.
Through the help of volunteers and donors, Special Spaces makes dreams come true. And for Logan,
his dream was to have a train-themed bedroom.
So on a chilly day last November, the family left the house and the volunteers came in. 6 hours later, this happened. A room perfect for the future conductor. How did you feel when you came in here for the first time?
Happy.
Understatement of the century. And for the boy who dreams of the tracks.
He was just amazed.
It's a dream.
He's still amazed, aren't you?
Come true.
Yeah.